Welcome into our Sports Source Overtime segment. Last one for football season, but we'll continue this throughout the year. We go 10, 15 minutes here answering more of your questions with this panel of all VFLs: Daniel Hood, Jacob Gillum, Bobby Scott, Sterling Hinton. I'm going to race through these, so if you want to jump in on a question, go right ahead. If you think that it's been handled and you got nothing to add, then let it go on so we can move fast. All right, here we go. And if I could read my own writing, it would be great. If you could pick a bowl for Tennessee and an opponent without the tie-ins, any bowl in the country, back like the old days when you could wind up in any bowl, which I prefer, what bowl would you put them in this year? You can't say, okay, the Sugar Bowl or Rose Bowl, but which of the, they're not good enough to. Which of the 8 and 4 type bowls would you rather go to?
Peach Bowl.
Peach Bowl, Atlanta.
Peach Bowl. Ain't no fun like Hotlanta, baby. Ain't no fun like Hotlanta.
Tennessee's had some issues in the Georgia Dome. Maybe they could exercise them with this team.
But that was on the sanctioned bowl.
Actually, you guys exercised
See
it.
if any of these
Beat
guys remember.
NC State.
We had a good time.
See if any of these guys remember that old Sun Bowl.
The Sun Bowl. See, I don't know that anybody wants to go to Juarez these days, but that was, Tennessee went out there and played Maryland in the 80s. That was a good Holiday Bowl, San Diego.
I know a place I've always wanted to
Anywhere,
play.
Arizona.
Play a Pac-12 team. The SEC keeps it's all Big Ten, ACC with a couple of Big 12s. Cut a deal with the Pac-12 at some point. I'd love to see Tennessee go against a Pac-12 team in a bowl game somewhere in an unusual spot, but you don't get it.
I'd love to play in. Go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say Tennessee, UCLA, Bahamas Bowl. That's what I want to see.
There you go.
Bahamas Bowl.
I'd love to
Have they
play in
got
the
a
Cotton Bowl.
stadium down there?
Yeah.
I'd love to play in the Cotton Bowl just because I'd love to play in Dallas Stadium. I just think it'd be an incredible experience. I don't care who you pick as an opponent, but
It was
maybe
incredible.
hang out with Dewey for dinner one
That's-
night. While we're down there.
It was incredible to play in the old Cotton Bowl at the fairgrounds.
I saw a game at
That
the old Cotton
that
Bowl.
was back in the day.
They didn't have the 80-yard jumbotron over that old building. Vol fans happy next year if Tennessee goes 10-2 with losses to Alabama and Florida, and don't make the SEC championship game.
10-2 should be happy anyway, but they'll be grumbling about
the
those
answer's
2
no.
losses. But 10-2 is a good season.
It's a great season,
It's a great
especially what
season.
you've been coming. 8-4 is a great season considering where this program
Say
has
it
been.
again.
You haven't won it. You have not won an SEC championship since 1998. I remember when the '85 team went for the first time since '69, and it was just like manna from heaven. It's like 16 years. Well, now it's been 17. That is hard to wrap your head around. So you're going in the right direction. I agree with you. I don't think they would be happy, but I think they ought to be happy with 10-2.
What's the opposite? What if you go 9-3, beat Florida, lose to Bama? You happy?
Never lose to Bama. No one's happy losing to Bama.
I wouldn't
ever.
be happy, but
You would be happy beating Florida first?
I wouldn't be. I hate Alabama. I hate Alabama.
All right, guys, got a lot of the better scheme, spread or pro style. Now, interestingly, the pro style has now kind of become spread passing, but they're talking, I'm guessing, spread zone read that Tennessee runs or your traditional pro style offense. Which is better, your opinion?
I love a mix of it, but I'm old school smash mouth football. I love having a tight end and a fullback in the game at the same time. And it's actually one of the things I respect the most about Alabama and where they beat everybody is they out physical you in the front 7 on really both sides of the football.
Daniel, I agree with you. That's the only way I played.
You never went there.
I never took a snap from the shotgun.
I would have liked to have seen Heath Schuler. He would have been Tim Tebow before Tim Tebow if they had played this kind of style back for them. But here's the thing. I prefer a pro style offense because I just think you put too much. You have to have a good dual threat quarterback on every. I just think it's more important to have that star quarterback in the spread zone read stuff than it is in just a true pro style offense. True pro style offense, you get some of those Tennessee teams where you just turn around and hand it off with that line. Didn't matter if somebody.
I still think if you got Tom Brady, then I'm running the spread all day because I think that just when you have a great quarterback, it just makes it 10 times better. But if you're average at the quarterback position, you go to a pro style offense because it protects it. I mean, you look at Coker. I mean, I don't think anyone's saying he's a first round draft pick, but he looks great this year just because of the system he's in.
Yeah, he's more of a game manager.
Yeah.
I still say though, like, to what Daniel was saying there, if you don't have a quarterback that's willing to pull a ball out and run it and have that option, I mean, it's just like, you pack everybody in and then your running game's stymied.
I know, but I will say this, I continue to say this. If you put 8-9 guys in the box, it's easy to get them out of the box if you can complete passes over them. That's
right.
how you do it.
Yeah.
So, yes, you need a quarterback who can run, but you also need a quarterback who's at least accurate enough to scare them out of that situation and make it pay. Is Tennessee the best team in the SEC East right now? I think there's no question.
Yeah.
Sterling?
Shit, I think they were the best in the beginning of the season.
Okay.
It's my opinion.
They are.
So you're saying the coaches blew it?
No, I'm not definitely not saying no. You said that. I didn't say that. We had a couple of misfortunes during the season, but we were the best team in the East this year, as far as I'm concerned.
Someone asked me why Marcus Jackson didn't go through the T yesterday. That was a personal choice. That was not anything to do with UT at all.
No.
Nothing to do as a negative toward Tennessee. Marcus Jackson will not be returning next year. He is out, but that was a personal decision on that young man's part, and we'll leave it personal. Was Vandy classless for running on the field as Tennessee was going through the T? As they were doing their senior day, Vanderbilt apparently came out on the field. I didn't notice it. Was that classless?
That's the way Vanderbilt is.
That's just Vanderbilt.
I mean, that's
who
what
they are.
They tried to take a shot at Dobbs on the sideline. They had a cut block where they tried to cut our defensive ends legs. I mean, that's just the way they play.
I'll tell you, it's classless.
I know where you're going, and you're right.
At the end of the game, calling a timeout, minutes unleft in the game because you want to go down and score to make it look more respectable to 53-28.
Yep.
Game's over. We know your season's done. You're not going to a bowl game. Just let it be done and over with. We got our dreams and goals, aspirations ahead of us. Stop trying to get people hurt. It's just bad football.
Throwing at the end when you have no chance and your season is over was just being a nuisance. I mean, you're just risking injury to people. I thought that was more classless, especially after Tennessee had called off the dogs.
Yeah.
And so they started running it, punting it back. You expect them to run it, but no. I thought, in hindsight, you kind of wish that they hadn't called off the dogs. Like, just stick it in them again.
Beat them
Next year we'll beat them
75-14.
17-0.
That's Vanderbilt.
Tennessee, we're online. Tennessee should have gone balls to the wall against them.
They should have.
Potential playoffs team in the future for Tennessee?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But guys, you got to remember, there's only 4 teams getting in. You need some breaks to get in that. You're talking 12-0, 11-1. Now, is that possible next year? I think it is possible, but I don't. If people around here start saying, "Well, I didn't get in the playoffs, fire him," that's a bit.
Well, see, that's still
a bit much.
Yeah,
I think it's possible because even this year, I think you were actually possible. If you take away 2 injuries, we're a 10-2 team. You take away Kurt Magette in the Oklahoma game, I think we win that game. You take away Cam Sutton in the Florida game where we give up the 4th and 14 throw.
And he's on the
I think we
sideline.
win that one. Now we're 10-2. We're going to Atlanta to play the Alabama national championship game. Anything happens, you beat Atlanta or you beat Alabama in Atlanta. It's hard for a playoff committee to say, you know what, I'm going to keep that now 11-2 Tennessee team out of it.
All right, quarterback situation. Someone's asking, you got Dobbs, Dormady, and Garantano. You've also got Sharon Jones,
Yes, sir.
who redshirted this year, who, again, I've said this all year. Go look at his clips on YouTube. They're highlights, but he looks pretty darn good.
Gully Boy
So
Jones.
you've got those guys. I don't think all 4 are here. I think Garantano signs. I think Dobbs is your starter. The question is who leaves, Dormady or Jones, in my opinion. I just think that's where you are when you start getting all these good quarterbacks. What do you think happens with the quarterback situation next year?
I think we're gonna be deep at the position. I don't think anyone leaves next year. Next year, I think we're gonna be deep at the position. I think we're gonna have more plays called for our quarterback because of the depth, and I think we're gonna be really strong stout at that position.
Hopefully,
Ohio State-esque, Miami in the 80s-esque.
It's so rare. That Ohio State thing is so rare.
I think we've got enough competitors at quarterback. No one leaves next year. They all want to try to come, make their claim, and see if they're the best quarterback out of the 4. I think after that, you get guys that want to play football and are good enough to play football, and they might transfer somewhere else.
Daniel, I'll let you close. Let me get to Bobby first. What were you going to say about it?
I just think that I think Dobbs has got a leg up on everybody, and there's nobody going to, nobody's going to come in and beat him out. There's not enough footballs. I mean, that's just the way it is, and it wouldn't surprise me for one of them to take off and go somewhere at all.
I think you got Dobbs as your starter, Garantano, red shirts next year, and Dormady Jones takes off. Maybe wrong. Hope I'm wrong. But usually these guys leave. Daniel, final word.
We'll go ahead and just start the fire for next year. I think I heard Tennessee's putting in a new rugby-type offensive system. So we're going to have just 11 guys on the field, and it's going to be pitching all the time. So you got to have 4 that can throw it. So get them all on the field at once.
Let me see if I've got one more quickie here on Twitter. See if we can get one more guy here, or girl, whoever sent it in. We'll see if we can get him in the show. If we've got anything. Do you see? Oh, here we go. Do you see any of the assistant coaches leaving this year?
Not this year. Next year is a problem. Next year is an absolute problem. I mean, we've got a talented coaching staff, a resilient coaching staff. We're going to have a lot of wins next year, and people come after winners, and all coaches want to be head coaches and offensive and defensive coordinators.
This coach staff's been together for a long time, the core group of them. But I think once you get so many wins in a program, other teams are going to want those guys.
Absolutely.
Somebody sent me a note here that just says, I pointed out that there were no top 25 teams this week with 4 losses. Well, Tennessee, they've sent it now. They're in the top 25. A poll from Campus Insiders. So thanks, but that
Power
doesn't
Index
really.
has us in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just.
Power index, but not.
They're in the Sports Source poll as well, but I don't know if anybody's going to follow that.
I know,
All
I'll
right.
say this: going into the season, I would have been shocked if they'd have kept Mahoney after the season. But now, going through how he coached this year, I think they'd be crazy to let him go with what he dealt with this year and how that team played. I think he earned his job back this year.
Be interesting to see the second year under DeBoer as well. I mean, for those that don't like what he did, they weren't going to like. It was the people that didn't want him hired.
Yeah.
But you look at what we showed in that first segment today. All of those. All right, you're in the top 7 all-time total of yards, top 5 points, top 4 in terms of rushing yards. Hard to argue with the success that you had. I mean,
Numbers don't lie.
Yeah,
Nope.
when you're talking about
Numbers don't
all-time good at Tennessee, pretty good stuff. And pretty good stuff from you guys all year long. I really appreciate it. I'm sure we'll see some of you bowl season. We'll see some of you guys spring. I appreciate it. Sterling Hinton, Bobby Scott, Jacob Gillum, Daniel Hood. You brought so much to the show this year. I appreciate it, guys. And I appreciate you for watching every week. We'll see you next Sunday as we talk a little more football, go more in-depth on the bowl projections, and talk basketball as Mark Pankratz and Mike Strange return to action. See you next week on the Sports Source.